To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, let's begin. Whenever we last left off, Deku and Jiro were rescued from Darkseid's planets. And they were trying to explain exactly what has been going on. Darkseid has taken the Red Lanterns, capturing them and trapping them in a place called the X-Pit. Meanwhile, he sent Atrocitus to try and recruit more. Those being complete truths. Batman notices that these two are at least telling the truth about that. Although whenever Midoriya can't talk, that's a bit surprising, as they would have been properly given rooms, and at least left there for a bit of time. Batman at least telling Cyborg to please keep an eye on those two, and that he has a bit of a hunch, calling Superman and Diana, along with getting Hal Jordan. This piece of information might be crucial. Then again, it also might cue them in on some things. Now, Hal would have picked up the transmission, confused at why Bruce is calling him. Him just saying that he has a question. You did say that the young man, he lost his life, correct? There was no body? Which, what was it? The Umbrax kid? Yeah, we had no life signs of him. Why? Well, I have a hunch. And I think you might want to come back to the Watchtower. This being a bit confusing. Midoriya and Jiro at least getting a bit of a change, being able to take showers and actually lay down. Or watch TV. Deku actually a bit surprised whenever he does turn it on, scrolling through quite a bit of the channels as he does eventually settle on one. It being the UA Sports Festival, being broadcast live. Midoriya just watching this battle, as it is showing the finals. Bakugo versus Todoroki. As soon as he watches Todoroki and Bakugo battle, these two have just been going back and forth. Todoroki finally letting out a large blast of his fire, trying to cover and coat Bakugo. Midoriya just taking a sip of water, as whenever that finally does at least happen, Bakugo would have done one thing. He would have used his ring, finally at least showing it off. As you have him creating a construct, something to block the fire as he's able to funnel it and run through. Midoriya spitting out his drink and watching this. Bakugo rushing forwards and immediately just sending a large explosion punch directly into Todoroki, along with grabbing him out of the air and swinging him around the arena, before flying upwards and smashing him down as hard as he can. Quite a lot of people in shock and surprised, as Bakugo would just announce that he is the Orange Lantern, King Explosion. Now, that would actually get Midoriya very pissed off, as his eyes begin to fill with rage, and he just begins to feel angry, as there's a knock on his door. Midoriya quickly throwing up his hand and recreating this, wrapping around his face, as he would walk over and answer it, confused at what he's seeing. Superboy, Beast Boy, Megan, Kid Flash, Dick Grayson, and others, along with Superman's actual son and Damian Wayne. Confused at who these two are, as he would just look sideways. Superboy just stating that he's, well, the new guy, right? Batman said he wanted us to talk to you. Midoriya just nodding. Superboy confused as Jiro would just walk out. And just say that he can't really talk. It's a long story. Superboy just looking at her. And then looking back at him. 2 Red Lanterns? Yeah, sorry about that. Well, I mean, technically I'm also part of another corps, but I kinda, yeah, took off the ring for a while. Oh. Okay, why? Well, love and rage are conflicting emotions. I want to get control of them before I try and use them together. Beast Boy just saying that that kind of makes sense. Midoriya just looking straight at Superboy, and wondering as to why he's here. Magon stating that they're here because Batman wanted us to talk with you. Midoriya just staring straight at her. And she just state that she's sorry to do that, but, well, it's sort of like a telepathic link. Midoriya just bring up his hand, and, well, just waving his finger. Before he would close his door and walk over into his bathroom. As he begins to run the water and would just do one thing. Jiro outside is just saying that they need to give him a minute. He was through quite a lot of things. Worse than she was, actually. Them just saying that they know. Batman kind of informed them. Along with Diana knows, well, said how you guys were found. As Magon would just ask questions about her. Jiro was just saying that she began to give herself an explanation. What happened with her, how she got her ring, leaving at the part where she beat some guy to death, and at least trying to defend herself. Along with asking the Martian girl to stay out of Midoriya's head for a minute. Is probably not good to look in there. Her just saying that she gets it. She doesn't like to use her power to do that. Let's cut back into the bathroom though, with Midoriya. He is telling Umbrax to stay quiet, or else he will blow their cover. Umbrax is stating that that will work perfectly fine. Then again, question. When are you going to start murdering again? Are you going to go after Darkseid, these people, or are you going to try and kill someone more important? Like another Lantern. What is it? That boy you saw on TV. I felt your rage. That was the highest I've ever seen it. So, you want to murder him, don't you? I do. Yes. I won't hide it. But if you get us caught, then we're going to have to go back to Apocalypse. Umbrax is stopping. Midoriya just saying that that's what he thought. You already know how things felt being there. So, tell you what. I will at least not train as intensely, or try and work on my own pain tolerance for a while. In return, you do as I say. Umbrax not even saying a word. Midoriya just saying, perfect, before walking back out. Changing his entire uniform, as he would just look at them. Opening the door and just walking past them. Megan reopening contact as she would do that whole telepathic link or whatever with everyone. them all just walking through the watchtower, as Midoriya would be able to have a conversation. Him just saying that it's been so long since he's been able to talk. It's a bit weird. McGonagall stating that this is, well, expected, but it will take some getting used to. Jiro is saying that, yeah, she's not really sure what she means by that. Besides, we're basically able to fly out in space, do anything we really want to. But what are you talking about? As they would walk through more places. As Midoriya would look around and at least stop walking, freezing and staring at something. As Jiro would walk back over to him, and they would all look inside this room. It's showing a memorial to some fallen heroes. Midoriya is staring at this, walking over and looking at a few. Him walking past, I'm not really sure what to say, since I don't really want to say, oh yeah, these certain heroes are dead right now in DC. So let's just say he walks past a few, and stares directly at the Martian Manhunter Memorial. It just shows him holding his hands up, the red plant in his hand, as there's a bunch more surrounding him. It basically is saying, to the last Martian. Now, Midoriya would just stare at this, along with just looking at it for a while, before they would go back to it. Eventually, Hal Jordan would have arrived, along with Saint Walker, Ida, Bakugo, and, well, Larfleeze. Him just asking exactly what are they supposed to be doing here. He's not too sure why you even called him. Your little hunch, was it? It's not possible. If the kid survived, that means Umbrak survived. It's plain and simple. And he'd be out there trying to do more carnage. But I'll at least check it out. We're trying to scatter and look through all the barren plants he left behind. It's disgusting how many there are. I understand, Jordan. But at least pay attention to this. Security monitors coming up. As it would just show exactly this boy. They don't have cameras inside his room, but you can clearly tell that he closed the door immediately whenever he saw a Martian. So he must know about their telepathic abilities. Bruce. It could be that after being with Darkseid for a month, and from what I've heard, he probably could just be scared, a frightened child. You ever thought of that? Or you gotta think about it. He might have PTSD. Him just throwing it out there. Bruce saying that that is a possibility, yes. But it's not just that. The boy showed great control over his abilities. And that if he even was recruited from this town, like he's heard, they would have at least seen a lantern ring. You ever thought that those scanners can't pick up everything, World's Greatest Detective? Him just saying that he's certain they could. They cost billions. As he would just say to Cyborg if he can pull up the training room data. And it cutting to a picture. You have Midoriya with his hands up, along with Superboy on the other side. This training room is specialized. It's made for Superman to even exert himself, meaning that they can actually fight seriously here. Superboy just telling Midoriya to give him all he's got. He can take it. As he's basically just moving around the room with his arms up. Midoriya at least doing something similar. As the two just watch this. A lot of people are at least trying to cheer people on, or at least tell Midoriya to give him a good punch. Midoriya at least dodging his right hook and coming with his left hook, being able to smash him directly in the face as he would throw at his right arm, smashing him again along with slapping him with his left arm, slapping him into his ear and then bending downwards, and putting all the force he can into a punch, uppercutting him and sending him into the roof, smashing into it and then coming back down, before getting back up, and telling him that that's a pretty good warm-up, before he would rush forwards and try and at least smash into and get Midoriya. Midoriya bringing up his ring and creating constructs, creating a wall as Superboy would bring his hand up and go to smash through it. As soon as he throws the first punch, he would begin to throw other ones, again and again and again before he finally smashes through the wall, running forwards and at least trying to listen to what Batman said. Batman said to at least challenge the guy and aim for his hood. Pull it off and see what's down there. Alright, not sure why he wanted me to do this. As he would run forwards and go to grab directly at Midoriya's face. As soon as that happens, Midoriya would throw his body backwards, and his hand would come up, creating a giant gauntlet around his right arm. Midoriya throwing it outwards and hitting Superboy along the face. Superboy trying to at least throw his left arm outwards and smash Midoriya in the gut. Doing so as he gets sent flying toward the wall, regaining his balance and beginning to fly directly at Superboy. Him jumping upwards and flying straight from Midoriya, the two colliding with a fist. And Magon would begin to cheer Superboy on, while Jiro is basically just saying, "Go, go, go," Midoriya's fake name. I'm not sure what she would have said. Let's say that she at least said that he was, well, a good first name. Brandon. I don't know why I just thought about that off the top of my head. Well, I was thinking about this before the recording, actually, so at least it works. Now, Brandon, he needs to at least get Superboy on the ground. Show him what the Red Lanterns are made of. Her being to get a lot more excited as people do at least see her, well, at least powering up a bit. Her basically having her rage come to the surface. People watching that as Midoriya would just look at Superboy. Complete rage in his eyes, as he throws his left arm outwards and smash him along the face. Superboy kicking upwards into his ribs. Midoriya feeling that and at least grabbing him by his leg as he would pick him up into the air, using his flight to move his body and smash his head directly into the ground. Turning around and grabbing Superboy by the back of his face, being to pile drive his face into the dirt as he would just start flying around the room, before finally picking him up and throwing him against the wall, smashing it and denting it as he would pull him back towards him, pulling him backwards and smashing him along the face with the powerful uppercuts. As soon as that happened, Superboy would try and recover, landing onto the wall and jumping back off of it, rushing towards Midoriya. Midoriya going to throw up another wall, Superboy smashing straight through it, showing off his actual strength. Throwing his right arm outwards as he would grab onto Midoriya's wrappings. Now, as soon as he grabs Midoriya's wrappings, he would go to pull. As soon as Midoriya feels them loose around his face, Midoriya would just throw out his right arm as much as he can, smashing and throwing Superboy away, along with him tearing off his wrappings. As soon as that does happen, Midoriya would just bring his hand up, trying to cover his face. Now, this is whenever Magon and the rest of the Young Justice members, they would just stare at Midoriya, as he brings his hands up and just tries to shield himself. Them all just staring at him for a second, before the realization sinks in, them going to attack him. Now, I do want to say this is whenever Bakugo, Larfleeze, Saint Walker, and Ida would have arrived, getting onto the station as they do hear the commotion at least, as they would just be closer to the training room. Now, As soon as they do hear this commotion, a very loud thud, Bakugo and Ida would go running in that direction. Ida arriving first, and then Bakugo. Watching as there's a scenario. You do have a guy who's at least trying to hide and cover his face, along with the girl he's seen before, who is in front of that guy. Basically trying to explain to them that they need to calm down, and that he's not like that anymore. Everything is okay. Them not wanting to believe it. Superboy basically having to hold Magon back, and she basically has her eyes filled with tears. And she keeps screaming that that Umbrax murdered Ja'on. Bakugo confused at why they're mentioning Umbrax. As Midoriya would just finally throw this thing off his face, screaming that he wasn't Umbrax. Umbrax used him. That being where Bakugo has the sinking realization, staring directly at Midoriya as he'd be pissed off. At the same time, he's also very curious. Running into the room and beginning to scream, shouting that it's Izuku Midoriya. How the hell are you alive? As he would just walk in. As soon as Midoriya's eyes meet his, he would just feel rage and begin to engulf his entire body in it. Him trying to hold back. Jiro just turning around and doing one thing. Pulling something out of her pocket as she just slips it on. Her outfit changing halfways as she just bends down and grabs him by the face. Getting him to look directly at her. Telling him that he needs to stay calm. Please, look at me. Hey, look at me. As she begins to at least fill Midoriya with love. Him at least calming down and bringing his hands up. Grabbing her by hers. As his eyes begin to fill with tears. And he just says that he's sorry. He's so sorry. Umbrax used me as a tool. He used me and made me kill so many people. I didn't want to do it. But I had to witness it. I had to witness billions die at my own hands. Magon. Midoriya is looking up to her and saying that he's so sorry. He learned too late what her father figure's words meant. Willpower will keep him alive. John saved his life with those words. They are what gave him hope. Her just dropping down to her knees and beginning to cry herself. Eventually, Batman and Hal Jordan would walk in, along with Superman. As soon as Batman walks in, Hal Jordan would just look at the situation. The kid who was deemed dead is alive. Yeah, that is not good. Along with that, yikes. As they begin to go over things. Hal Jordan trying to debrief Midoriya and ask him some questions. Midoriya confused as to what he means. He was on Earth during the attack. And then he was forced to do certain things. If he didn't, they would murder his friends. He couldn't disobey Lord Darkseid. Superman just staring directly at this. And just saying that Darkseid has been messing with your heads, hasn't he? The two basically nodding. And at least going to get examined. Now, I do want to say that with the merger, Umbrax is somewhat like normal brainwaves, but just a bit more odd and curious. So it could be opposed to what is it? Multiple personality disorder? Like from the movie Split. I know it's a real thing, but I guess like for people who don't understand what that means, that's a shortened version of it. Anyways, now he would just go on stating that every time he feels something weird, he begins to at least change a bit. Explaining this to Cyborg, who is going over his brain patterns. He doesn't see a lot out of the ordinary, but he does at least see the trauma. It's very apparent. The boy's brain is hyped up on all sorts of chemicals, these being very dangerous. Him just thinking that Midoriya's system is entirely flooded. Now, he would have at least given Midoriya medicine after it gets approved by Batman. To people who don't get that joke, Batman's a doctor. Anyways, one of his PhDs will cover it. Now, with that being said, after all that would happen, Deku and Bakugo would be kept apart at Batman's orders, and they would all try and go to at least get some sleep. Now, with that being said, Midoriya is trying to get some sleep, and every time he does close his eyes, he goes back to Apocalypse. Everything he's endured within the past month, the box, the confined space, and the other things. The chemicals, alterations he's had to do to his sleep schedule, and more things. It being very, very disturbing. Him basically waking up in a cold sweat, screaming, and nearly obliterating everything in his room. As he just gets angry, and he wants to take a lap outside. I guess the best way to describe it as. Go out into space and at least think about things. It's been very, very, odd. Along with that, they are going to try and break Darkseid's control over him. They think that Darkseid has control over him, but he doesn't. Well, kid, at least you're getting better, aren't you? I told you to stay quiet when we're on the station. Sorry. Anyways, I guess you need to at least remember one thing. You still need to kill Kyle Rayner and get that ring. Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. As there's a knock on Midoriya's door. Him getting up and answering it. And seeing Jiro. Midoriya and her just talking for a minute. She couldn't sleep either. So it's apparent that the stuff doesn't only affect him then. Midoriya asking her some questions as they would begin to walk around. Eventually they would come to a gaming room, walking in and at least testing out a lot of the different arcade stuff, along with the musical stuff. That being something Midoriya tries to get Jiro to avoid. Eventually them sitting on the couch and trying to play the video games. Eventually them playing for so long, they would eventually stop and at least go to cuddle and talk with each other. They feel safe like this. Jiro basically asks exactly what they're going to do once they get everything solved. I don't know. Midoriya just looking down at her, telling her that he hasn't really thought about it. Now that I'm free, it's all odd. I don't think my life will ever be the same. Besides, Midoriya is just freezing up. Along with the fact that he's beginning to panic a bit. He's never thought about just trying to walk away from this. He's never had time to. Jiro just bringing her hand to his face and snapping him out of it. Her kissing him as the two would fall asleep, and eventually be found in the morning on the couch in this gaming room, nearly after an entire hysterical search. Eventually, the Flash would have found them and explained to Batman exactly what is going on. The two probably couldn't have slept. Them going over the security footage and seeing exactly what happened. Understanding it. Now, with that being said, I do believe that will be a good point to leave this off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And I do hope you guys